Bang, we are back. Episode 9 of The Trenches coming at you from our studio in Braintree, Massachusetts. What? We got a good one today. We got another in-studio guest, a very good friend of mine and Gordon's. Very instrumental growing up, playing high school sports, and just, I mean, he was our AAU coach. He was our friend. He was our mentor. He was, just all around great guy. And it goes to show you that now a decade later, here we are, hitting each other up, hanging out, and having him on our show.
Absolute living legend. If you're from the South Shore area, you know exactly who it is. From anywhere from Quincy all the way down to Kingston, Plymouth area, you know this dude.
Jay Brown, Abington's own South Shore legend. Give it up.
Give it to him. There it is. There it is. Love the sound effects.
Yes, sir. Give it up.
Jay Brown, how are you doing? Because I know we've talked a little bit. We've caught up a little bit, kind of about like what's been going on in your life since like Wolfpack and all that, over the last like decade. But, tell the people, because I know like, you've made a lot of transformations. You've had a lot go on in your life. You got a couple kids now, a family, a girl, you get moving into a new house, a new business, all that stuff. Tell the people
Slim as hell.
Slim as hell.
Slim as hell.
That's the first thing I said when you walked in. I was like,
my
Jesus,
God.
Holy shit, Jay looks good.
I should take a picture and send it to Kurt, because Kurt's going to be like, oh, damn.
No, Kurt just would read it and won't respond. Yes. He won't say anything. Yeah.
He'll like chuckle to himself, but won't even laugh at it. That's crazy.
A little Beavis and Butthead.
No, this is surreal to be here with you guys now, considering, I think I met you guys when you're like 13 years old.
Legit.
Facts.
Absolutely. And, to be part of what you guys are doing now, how you guys become men, what your careers, the things that you guys are, attempting to do. It's pretty crazy. Maybe that's why I'm down 40 pounds, so that I can maybe see the next 10, 20 years of it.
Honestly, bro, it's so crazy. I can say, like, I'll never forget the day Braintree was playing Rockland. We were in 7th grade in the Rockland gymnasium, and you came up to us and you were like, "Hey guys, like, just so you know, and this was probably that was 7th grade. So that was how many years ago? That was over a decade ago at this point. It's probably
we were 13. We are 27.
It's probably like 15,
now,
14, 15 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember you walked in and you said, "Hey guys, I'm starting an AAU program, bunch of local kids, nothing crazy, should be a good time. You guys want to try out?" You gave us the details. I remember showing up, a couple of the Braintree kids, a couple of kids from the South Shore. And I think what was so fucking special and crazy about us was we started out like a bunch of nobodies, like no names, no big recruits, no one that was on anybody's radar, practicing in like the Rockland gym, like doing nothing crazy. And we just started going to tournaments, and we were whooping teams. And I think it was a combination of the fact that like we were, I think we were just so close, I think, as a team. And I think you started that because any team, it starts from the coach and the tone at the top, and it trickles down. And you kind of just, I think, instilled in everybody that we were all like friends. We were all like, playing for each other, and that we all had like something to prove. We all had like chips on our shoulders. Like I said, none of us were high recruits. None of us our names were in the papers for too much shit. And you just kind of said, "Hey, you guys are talented. Let's go out and win some fucking games."
Absolutely. We became, a family pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I would say, even with that, where I decided to start an AAU program, and it was just based out of a couple of the Rockland kids, where I had a mom push me deli flip.
Yeah.
Deli was, she was the typical AAU mom. She was pushing us to do this.
OG.
And, so then I realized that I was behind the 8 ball and I had to kind of get going, but I didn't understand how any of it worked. I had her start everything for us, but it's, true story. Dutcher was a kid that I recruited, and, he had already had something with like the Magic or whatever. And the best story is me trying to get Gordon.
Tell us about that one.
So
he's gonna love this one.
Oh, it's great. So we played Duxbury, and of course there's like a 6'2" 7th grader playing for Duxbury. He can barely walk. He looks like a baby gazelle, but we're starting something, bad. And that's who we want. So I'm calling all around, and I can't get any information about his mother or anything. I think I'd gotten a Duxbury father was like, "Oh yeah, Gordon's gonna be at this kid's party tomorrow." So I literally had gone through like 4 houses calling random houses. Yeah. And I remember being in like picking up my dog from daycare, and I'm like calling this house. He's like on a slip and slide out in the front yard. And they're just yelling at the door like, "Gordon, some basketball coach is on the phone for you." he comes in and I was just like giving my 10-second pitch to a 13-year-old kid. And I'm like, listen, man, this is going to be something great. We're going to be different than everybody else. We're going to try to put something of our own together. And he's just like, yeah, cool. But my buddy's like turning 13 today. And
I don't really care.
yeah,
right
this
now.
slip and slide's not going to, get any wetter. I got to get out of there. So, he ended up not being a part of it that first year. But I think we made such an impact, such a splash early that, your producer over here, Noah, ended up becoming a big part of the program later, down the road because.
Shouts out to Noah in the building.
Yeah,
let's give Noah his claps.
Yeah.
Give Noah his claps.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Noah playing club down at Wake Forest.
Yeah. Still going true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what it was. It was just, we went with what we knew. And, I went over to the Braintree huddle, but I was kind of looking straight at you and Dutch and some of those guys. I was like, yeah, everyone can try out. you be there.
Come through.
Yeah.
So we'll have multiple teams. So
Because your thing was you guys had a ton of guards and like small forwards. You didn't have like any big men.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. So Justin was there. Justin had the rec specs.
Bro, what did I tell you? Justin had the most legendary rec specs of all time. And I swear, didn't your brother have rec specs too?
No, he didn't. But so I remember it was funny because I never wanted the rec specs, but like around like 6th grade, I realized I need glasses. Like I went like until I was like 12 years old, not knowing I had shitty eyesight. And then I got the rec specs because some eye doctor was like, no, you can't wear contacts during sports. Like I was like, okay. And then so I went through like
fucking reason I got them.
I went through like
digress.
2 years of rec specs, and then finally I went back to like an eye doctor for like a checkup. It was a different one. I was like, yeah, I like contacts, but I guess I can't wear them during sports. And he was like, what? You can definitely wear them during sports. I was like, yeah, get rid of these fucking goggles. Yeah, give me the contacts.
Yeah, I just assumed Justin took them off. He's thinking girls were going to be at these tournaments. He's going to lose the rec specs.
Somebody's sister.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
But yeah,
there it is.
You feel me?
That program went from, one team year one to like 3, and then it was 10, and then probably our first year at the U, we were like 65 teams or something crazy.
I was going to say, you built it pretty much into one of the largest AAU programs, I would say, in New England, probably the biggest in the South Shore, right?
And honestly, I kind of wish AAU was still that way. It's so watered down now that, it wasn't like we were trying to, edge anybody out, let them do their own thing, but it was also about having one program where kids kind of worked their way through it and they actually made the correct team they were on instead of being cut and forming their own squad because they didn't make the A team. Because like, we, at that point, we basically absorbed all the small programs that were in the area, like you said, Quincy down to like the Cape, even like Travis Kendrew that, there wasn't any good AU on the Cape. So he would drive almost an hour every day just to go to practice with us.
That's dedication.
Yeah,
right there.
that's what ended up happening with me because that first year I played for the Coastal Pops.
That's what it was, the
which
Pops.
was dope.
Yeah,
So-
they disbanded.
Yeah, so it was me, like Cam McLevich, and like a bunch of other guys that were there. Like CJ Warks. I know CJ went with you. We had played with a bunch of we had really good talent too. But then it got disbanded, and I was like, "Yo, Jay, what's happening, man?" And me and Kerr were trying to come in and do the whole thing, and we, it was a good time, and I really enjoyed it. What was also like really cool about it too is that like it wasn't just a basketball that he was building up. Like, he literally came in, built the Kingston Sports Center, built that whole thing up, ran those courts. You built the U, from the half-ass Starland that it was before until like
the Hanover
literally,
U?
yes, he built that. Him and Mike Murray are the legends of the South Shore that built up legit basketball courts around. People that want to go play ball at Hingham. Are you kidding me? Like this is trash. But this dude,
that's crazy. That's where I do my EFA coaching.
Yeah.
So, that's dope. That's dope.
So you're EFA. So I coach at Weymouth now. It's pretty.
Yeah,
famous,
It's nothing but Weymouth kids.
Yeah,
over
absolutely.
there. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we just, it's growing up. I was the guy who, I would keep stats for our wiffle ball league. You'd keep stats of like, you play Tecmo Bowl and all that. You'd write everything down.
Yeah.
So I was always the guy that organized all those things. And then I had that opportunity to kind of turn it into a career that, I did it for almost a decade. I went from the Kingston Sports Center, and then we had, obviously the Wolves Den while Starland was being built.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a vision for it, and I think ultimately we achieved it, but to maintain that is just almost impossible.
so hard, so hard.
Noah was probably my last group. At this point I had 2 kids, and I was coaching, high school football, high school basketball, and AAU 2 seasons. So I, let Noah know, I talked to him about where he could go the next one, but it was him, Thatcher Stone, who's at William and Mary now. We had a good group, but Noah and Thatcher were the potential college players, and I didn't want to kind of leave them behind. But going into their sophomore year, they had basically one more big year of AAU.
Right.
And I just couldn't take there's just no loyalty in it.
Yeah.
It's all a business.
Oh, dude, these hoes ain't loyal, bro. That's a fact.
It's all a business at the end of the day, especially you, because every other team just wants to steal the other talent right underneath you, especially when they know you're going.
Yeah, especially when you know you're going to D1, D2, like big programs like BABC, and all those big programs are trying to steal up any kid possible.
Yeah, that's what it was. You looked at it, and I mean, I don't know how the AAU scene is today, but if it's anything like it was when we were playing, it's the younger you were, the more the larger number of competitive teams there were. And each year you climbed the ranks, those teams consolidated into, until eventually by the time you were 16, 17, everybody who was anybody was playing with BABC. You said, remember when we were in 7th, 8th grade, all for one going out and beating BABC because they had dudes like Renee Castro going off, right?
Milton.
But then what happened? Renee went to BABC because eventually everybody funnels up to 1 or 2 programs. So that's how it worked. But like you said, there was no loyalty. It was very interesting. It was super interesting. Everybody's ultimately wanted to go. They'd get their best shot for looks. But I would say it's funny because I think our core seemed to stay together for all those years.
You're probably the quintessential player. You're what I wanted to do in youth sports. Justin started out on our first team. He was coming off the bench, getting those minutes, and then as we drew more talent in, sometimes his role would get a little bit lower. By the time we were into high school, he was a starter. He understood exactly how I wanted to play, the defenses that we wanted to run. Because I had to make our South Shore All-Stars competitive with BABC and all these Leo Papil would, we were the only club team that was around that would actually go play in the Middlesex Magic tournaments or play in the BABC tournaments because we didn't care. You guys played against Nerlens Noel, Wayne Selden Jr., and we would show up and we would gladly take that 50
we
piece.
did, yeah.
Gladly take it, but we would at the end of the day, I was like, listen, man, you're going to be working as an accountant someday and you're going to be seeing Nerlens Noel play in the NBA and you're going to be like, yeah. I competed with that guy.
That's a big thing.
And we gave you guys as many opportunities as possible. But even Jared Terrell out of Weymouth, I coached him. I think it was I had the joke is I was 13 days. I had long enough to order him a uniform. And expressions. He's calls me up and he's like, hey, listen, I just got offered a spot on the expressions team, and I was like, hey, good luck with everything. Because I was because you're going to be in a prep school by September.
Facts.
You're going to be in a Division I college, and you're probably going to the NBA at some point.
Right.
You see why I really like you, bro? Because I don't know you from anything, but I like how the realism it is with you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people want to have a fantasy tale or fairy thing going on in their head, but you're seeing the realistic part of it. But you're also giving the kids at the end of the day who are going to be, like you said, accountants, just doing regular jobs. Not anything regular or to diminish anybody, but you're going to see these players
absolutely
at the highest of the highest level. And you can always have that story. You can always give them something to go back on. And that's a beautiful thing. So I appreciate you doing that for the kids when you did that shit.
And that's the difference. And that's why AAU is not what it should be, because I never told any of these kids that they were going to go play in Kentucky.
Right.
I just told them it was whatever your goal is, I'm here to facilitate it and help you. And if we don't reach it, we're going to reach some other goal. Because at the end of the day, success is what you determine it is. It's what your version of success.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So that was a good part. And, we played in the Gym Rat Challenge every year.
Exactly, yeah.
And so many texts, John Carey from your team, he would text me and be like, some kid from Pennsylvania, playing at Penn, was playing YFC. He was like, I covered that kid in the Gym Rat Challenge. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
but you're not playing at Penn State.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember what's his
got
name?
hella stories to tell. You know what I'm saying? That's
exactly.
a really good
Georgia.
point.
I remember Georgia. We played. Sure. Not only did we play against one of the BABC teams, we played the team that was a year older than us. I remember they had George's Yang out there, and he was out there dunking on us and shit. And that was up at Mplex down at Mplex, something like that. And now. Dudes in the NBA, and we can go back because I remember that was actually a game we kind of competed in that game. Do you remember that? And then we were really close to them. And at the end, they kind of pulled away and beat us by like 7 or 8 points. But to lose to like BABC by like 7 or 8 points with that team
under double digits.
Yeah.
Like that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of thing we could look at and be like, damn, like that might have even been like the B squad, but still we lost by 7 to the Division I B squad. Like, you know, like,
yeah, I tell people all the time, the kids I coach in Wolfpack, you know, I had like double digit D1 kids. They played at Elon football.
Yeah.
They played at UMass football. Like, I'm like, but they were all Division I athletes. You know, just like basketball was their fun sport. Yeah. And it was all about fun. And that's, Noah will tell you, like, some of the kids we lost on our team. And that's what just did it for me, because I didn't need to recruit kids I'd been coaching for 5 years. Right. I was the one bringing kids around them. And it's too bad. There's a lot of kids we lost along the way that just didn't understand. Right. Like, you're the 11th, 12th player on a phenomenal AAU team. Yeah. And I'm just trying, and you're here because you're a good tool in our toolbox, and you're going to get that opportunity. And then they just never saw it that way. Like, like PJ Hogan and who was the kid from Bourne, like the football player from Bourne,
Drew Gerard.
Yeah.
He quit in the middle of a state tournament, like, because we brought up Tyler Gibson, who was a Division I basketball player,
T. Gibby,
and we brought him up to play, and he just was getting minutes behind him. Like, listen, we play 50 games a year.
Right.
These 6 games are going to be.
You're going to get your shot.
We're here to win.
But this is not your shot.
No.
Yeah. You gotta, they're going to get their shot, but this is not it. No. You know, there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah. I ran into Brian Tavares the other day. And I was talking to him.
Oh, Tavares. Oh, my God.
I always loved Tavares.
I did, too. You know, he lived down the street from where I was. You know how many times I've seen him walk up down the road? I would literally pull my car over, pick him up, drive him back to his house. Because he'd just be walking everywhere. I'm like, Jesus.
But like, he's a kid that, you know, he came to nationals with us in Disney, and that team that you played on, we had like 13 kids, which is like crazy, you know, to be able to coach basketball. But the bottom of that bench understood that it was like, you were going to play, and if that tournament, you didn't have a day, it wasn't your day.
Right.
And like, we went to nationals with 13. That's crazy. And no one complained about playing time. Right. Maybe Wally lost his shit a little bit every once in a while. But that's Sean Wise.
There's a few. There's a few that's gonna happen, but
it was a good experience, man, and we're sitting in this room because of it.
Right. It was honestly a great experience. I can honestly say, like, there's very, like, you look back, and I mean I'm only 27, so I can't even say I've lived a long life, but like, you look back on shit, and like, you can point to pivotal decisions at points in your life that helped for sure shape the way like things in your life went. And I can definitely say, like, when I was 13 years old, listening to you and being like, you know what, I'm going to go try for this AAU team and showing up. That was a pivotal moment that shaped how definitely the next, you know, immediate 5 to 7 years of my life went. But even now, 15 years later, here we are. It clearly shaped everything. So I think it was crazy. And I think anybody who's ever been a part of the program, or, you know, who's been under your coaching tree or anything like that, can just attest to, you know, what you bring to the table. So I appreciate everything you did, man. Cause like I said, like, there's so many, like I said, like, Gordon's one of my co-hosts, like, the show. Like, I still talk to Colin all the time. Like, you know what I mean? And those are dudes that I never would have given 2 shits about. Sean just came on the show. Karee just came on the show.
Absolutely. Like, and this is, you know, for you guys, even just 10 years out of high school, this is, you know, 15 plus years for you guys just meeting each other, and you guys are still cool. You guys are hanging out. You're talking. You're collaborating on things. That's crazy to me. But that's the whole reason. You started that. The whole reason I ever wanted to coach, man. Somebody was there for me when I was a kid. You know, someone stepped up for me. Yeah, you got to 100% all the time.
Right, all the time. But hey, this is the trenches. And, we got some topics to get into.
We do. So Jay, when we're in the trenches, here's the thing: the trenches. Everybody, to give, you know, our listeners know, but to give everyone a little bit of background, if you're a first time listener, Jay will give you a little bit of background. In the trenches, you know, traditional sports fans, sports bettors, people who like, you know, the game, a lot of people like to focus on data, numbers, you know, things like that. We like to talk about those. We like to talk about performance and, you know, statistics, metrics, all that. But we really like to focus on a lot of the off the court, off the field stuff, the human element, right? Because at the end of the day, athletes, coaches, refs, everybody, they're all humans, right? And so there's a lot that leads up to what manifests on the fields that most fans are just not aware of, and they don't even think of. So we like to talk about shit that happens on and off the field. And even if it's stuff that's on the field, we like to get in deep about it, talk about it. There's really nothing off topics. Like, you know, we kind of cover it all. There's nothing really off limits. We're in the trenches. There's trench talk. Let's get into it. First topic we got on the list. We got Richard Sherman. So look, I'm gonna let one of you guys.
Topic. I'm gonna let. It's not even one of us.
I mean,
it's Gordon.
I can talk this a little bit.
I want you to take the lead.
No, for real. Hold on. Before you even go, like, you really gotta educate these people because, like, this has just dropped today.
Yes,
like just dropped.
This
today,
has been
this morning.
I would say the last 48 hours of Richard Sherman's life have been absolute just chaos.
Twilight Zone.
Absolute madness. You know what I'm saying? Everyone sees like the Seattle Richard Sherman on the field, the toughest dude around, to, you know, what's being posted on ESPN, what's going on in his world. Like literally King County District Court, you know, they found from probable cause that Richard Sherman committed 4 offenses, misdemeanor and gross misdemeanor charges of criminal trespasses in 2nd degree, malicious mischief in the 3rd degree, and both carrying domestic violence designations and misdemeanor charges of resisting arrest and driving under the influence. That means, like, from what it comes down to, from what it looks like, it seems like, you know, his arrest on suspicion of trying to break into his in-laws' home. So you got to think about this dude. Not only is he, you know, they're saying he's under the influence. This is all probable cause, but he's breaking into, you know, houses. And there was also a call, I believe, about him like saying he was like drunk and threatening this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, damn, what is going on with Richard Sherman? What made him spiral like this? When have you ever heard of this dude going to do anything like this in any way, shape, or form? But the fact is, like, he's going absolutely wild. And what originally happened, it's like, he got arrested and they were like, there's no bail. He's in jail, this, that, and the other thing. But just today, a judge ordered him to be released from jail with no bail, you know, following like all the arrests from the suspicions and whatnot. So I can't even imagine what that is going on.
So we like what you just said, what you just described for us is exactly what I read before the show. And I know we don't know anything, but I think it's fair to say we can play the speculators game.
Can I go first, please?
Please. I hold on. Before you go first, I think we're going. I just want to say I think it's fair to say we don't know shit.
Well, I don't know shit.
These are all speculations and allegations.
All opinions are our own.
Yes.
I do not know anything.
Trying to murder us in the DMs.
That's why I just want to give out a little disclaimer real quick before we kept
like,
going.
Yo, don't know Richard Sherman. What the hell are you talking about?
Because I don't know when this is going to be posted, but we just found this information out today.
We just found this out. We'll try to get this episode out tomorrow. But look, this is... I'm going to tell you my initial impression, because half of what I just found out right now from you.
Right.
Initial impression is Richard Sherman and his wife are out doing something. They're having a good time, whatever. They're drinking. They get into an argument. She goes to her parents' house. He tries to go there. She doesn't want him to come in. They're like, oh, my ex-husband's trying to knock at the door. He wants to come in, blah, blah, blah. The cops show up. They arrest him. That's my initial suspicion.
They're still married, right?
I believe so.
You said ex, so.
Oh no, well maybe I assume soon.
Noah, can you do us the due diligence? Yeah.
It looks to me like a fight that got out of control. And then she went to the parents' house, and he tried to follow her and be like, "Hey, all right." She was like, "No, I don't want to talk." And he's probably knocking at the door, pulling the door, like, "Come on, what are you doing?" And they were like, they called the cops. That's my That's my initial.
So
impression.
I'm looking at a little bit more stuff, and apparently the guy was absolutely hammered. So when he was arrested, the police said that he crashed his car in a construction zone along a busy highway east of Seattle. I guess he tried to break into his in-laws' house, and they're married.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they were definitely like, they're definitely like out in the town, like drinking and got into an argument or something. Like, damn.
And that's what I'm saying. This is a very, not even beyond smart. This is a brilliant dude. Went to Stanford. Yeah. High accolades, you know what I'm saying? I believe he was a valedictorian of his high school and everything like that.
Yeah, Stanford, unreal.
Yeah, I'm really just trying to figure out like what the fuck was said or what was done to get bro so mad that, if I'm reading what you're saying is right, he went over to the in-laws' place, right? Tried to break in there. Didn't get in, unsuccessful. Driving back home, ends up crashing his whip. So he's not injured, obviously, but it's still intoxicated enough to talk to the officers and say, I believe what we said at the beginning, that he wanted to kill himself. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, all that is just, to me, if I'm just like piecing stuff together, I'm no Sherlock Holmes, but just me piecing all that information together, he got told or found out something right then and there. He needed to get something or some piece of evidence from his wife's crib. Family's crib. So he went over there. That was unsuccessful. Drunk, belligerent, crashed his shit. Still not understanding what's actually going on. Still fuming off of whatever he was told or whatever he saw. And then he just went to the police and was just off his shit, and they just sprayed him. That's my only speculation because I haven't read anything. My guys have been reading the whole time.
So producer Noah just slipped me an article. So I'll just read this real quick because this actually it changes my opinion a little bit. Makes it seem more so like it was like a family gathering where he kind of went over the rails.
Top.
And so on a recording, Ashley begged Ashley, I'm assuming that's his wife, begged the operator to send officers to her home. I need officers to my house now. My husband is drunk and belligerent, she said. He's threatening to kill himself. He's being aggressive. He's wrestling with my uncle. He's threatening to kill himself. He sent text messages to people telling them he's going to hang himself. The operator tries to calm Ashley down. She repeatedly says there are no weapons involved, and he was threatening to confront police if they respond. Blah, blah, blah. He goes on to say, when the 911 operator asks Ashley how much her husband has had to drink, she responds, 2 bottles, 1 vodka and 1 Hennessy. She can be heard begging.
The Henny does get you make a little crazy, you know what I'm saying?
She can be heard begging Sherman, who played collegiate at Stanford, to stop as he attempts to drive away in his black Mercedes. So now it sounds to me like maybe he's got a little bit of a drinking problem, and this was like a family gathering gone awry.
I mean, I don't know if it was a drinking problem, because like, when's the last time you heard something about this? I mean, hey, man, I put down a ball in my life and woke up in a ditch. I mean, who hasn't at this point?
I don't think I could put down 2 bottles and still stand.
Exactly.
I'll tell you that, bro. That's something you got to be.
He's a professional athlete.
Yeah, professional athlete.
He's a professional athlete.
That's another,
So, like, to go with this, because apparently there was a remote, because this is all dealing with like the father-in-law, Raymond Moss, I guess Ashley's father, but the family like began to yell in fear. They used pepper spray on Sherman's face through a partially open door as he was still banging and attempted to gain entry. I guess they told him to stop, and they armed themselves with a handgun at the time, fearing for his safety. Wow. Like, guns came out. The family literally pulled out guns. Like, that's crazy.
He said the police needed a dog to take him down.
I mean, he is one of the toughest safeties in the league.
What's the chances that Sherman paid for the in-laws' house? Can you break into a house you own?
I don't think you can.
I'm so glad you say that, because one of the things hold on, I'm not even joking. I'm so glad you said that, because one of the things in my mind was like, he probably bought his family like the house. Like
maybe that's no bail now.
Across the board thought, but I like that.
I didn't even think that. I'm glad you said that, because that's what
you, bro.
Yeah, maybe that's why there's no bail now. Maybe they were in court and he's just like, how can I break into a house that I own?
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Exactly.
Stupid
bitch.
Honestly, no, it's like I could 100% see that. I'm curious to see what comes out. I mean, all we can do at this point is kind of speculate. It seems like every time we Google it, we're getting like a new article with new information.
Literally every 5 seconds.
That's why I didn't read anything on the way here, because I just didn't believe the website that I was going to read it on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no bail.
So
what do you
many
do?
of these people are putting this out. It has to be true, but I want to know what the actual story was. You know what I'm saying?
Like, what was actually going between?
Was she naming players that she's met?
You see what I'm saying? I mean, I hate to go there, but
who's Rick Barry from the Spurs, right?
Yeah. Rick Barry
in the delivery room, he realized it's like, not his kid.
Well, yeah. So he says. So Ashley Sherman said, talking to the Seattle Times, he didn't harm anybody. My kids were not harmed in this incident. He's a good person, and this is not his character. We're doing all right, just trying to get him out. I want people to know no one was injured. So it sounds like this might. It sounds like backtracking, but the more and more I'm reading now,
that's definitely backtracking.
Yeah. You
don't initially say that, or whoever just made up all that shit to whatever source or whatever internet.
It's his wife. You think she's gonna come out saying, "Oh, Richard did this. He's a stupid bitch. Like, he can't believe it." Bro, she's gonna say whatever the lawyer and the PR guy says to say. That's what's gonna happen. It's not
even about that. It's exactly what you were about to say. It's whatever really probably happened and transpired did happen. And then she had to sit down and be like, oh, shit, he probably is paying for my parents' crib. I don't know the situation. Like I said,
Bro, he definitely. I'm 100% confirmed that he's definitely believing. This is going out to source right here.
Speculation. I don't know shit about him. You know what I'm saying? But for real, is what I'm saying is like we really don't know, and she probably just got caught up in the moment, like blah 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 blah. I gotta tell you all this. Actually, no, he's really good. This is defamation of character. He's a great father. Just to be on the up and up, just so he can get his fucking shit back.
Yeah, you know her lawyer was like, "Hey, he's probably got 3 more years of contract."
Yeah,
think about some shit.
You might want to roll that back a little bit.
More incentives too.
He's gonna move to safety at some point. It's gonna be okay.
He's currently free agent, looking for a job. How about we don't expose him too much in the media?
I'll take him in New England. I'll tell you that.
I definitely will.
Take him over here.
Never get
I hope he doesn't kill himself though. That'd be great.
No, I mean I think it seems to me more like a one-off incident. I don't know. We'll see.
I think so too.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully, we wish him the best. We'll see what happens. I'm curious. We'll probably talk about it next episode once we get some more details. But all right, let's briefly keep the domestic violence train rolling.
Speaking of domestic violence, with professional players.
I do live in Rockland, so I can.
You've seen this before.
We got parents. We got Dwayne Haskins on deck. Dwayne Haskins
this
now.
Is a total opposite.
This situation is reversed now. Dwayne Haskins, it seemed like he was the victim in which his wife kind of just unloaded on him.
Three piece on a side of fries.
Was he the victim though?
Well, so that's the thing. We don't know what he did. We don't know what he did, but
he definitely did it.
He definitely did it. He definitely did it. He definitely did that shit.
There's no way your wife is gonna be beating on you so bad that you lose a fucking tooth.
He lost a fucking tooth.
Yeah, you stop playing defense the deeper you're in.
And what did you? And what did you say? There's no man in this world that's just gonna stand there and take a beating unless he fucking earned that shit.
Earned that shit.
Not deserve. I mean, he earned that shit.
Yeah. Then he smiles with like half his teeth. He's like, "Are we done? Are we good? Did we move on?"
I mean,
I don't even know where to start.
Did you guys have any actual details on what happened? All I know is his wife kind of hit him.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
That's basically
really
so. All I know from reading and looking at some of the pages that obviously there was a domestic situation where the wife was beating on him, but I guess after the fact or something, he called the cops on her. Apparently, so he called the cops on her, and it's so funny because it's like you read the internet and like half the comments are like, "Yo, you pussy for calling the cops on your wife." The other half is like, "Yeah, man, stand up instead of hitting your wife and calling the cops." Good for you, man.
Work the next day, they'll be like, the reporters be like, "What the fuck happened to your face?" Your coaches be like, "Bro, what's going on right here?"
What the fuck's wrong with your face?
All right, so
breaking news.
Noah is quick with the trigger finger tonight. He's on it.
You've been getting shout outs. You've been just doing your job. Expeditiously, my boy.
He even highlighted where I should
be.
Sports correspondent Noah.
Highlighter.
So apparently the dispute stemmed from plans for social outings. Calabria, I'm assuming that's his wife, and her friends were going to a Magic Mike show. And Dwayne and his friends were going to Dre's Beach Club and Nightclub.
Oh, Beach Club.
But that's
bikinis at the beach club.
That doesn't seem to be what the argument's about. It says instead of
wait, there's more.
There's more. No, but you would think that would be the argument. Dwayne being like, "Are you going to a strip club? Like, you're gonna watch some dude strip?" No, I guess the argument is instead of waiting for his wife and the others, Dwayne and his friends left without them. when and as someone with a girlfriend, I could say that's almost worse because
that is the worst.
That's capital punishment.
When they returned,
I've done that before. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's capital punishment.
The next sentence is just when they returned, the fight got physical. You know that ruined her night. She was waiting to see that dude again.
She's sitting outside the door
waiting.
waiting.
Are watching. Yeah,
she's literally sitting outside the door waiting for the comment. And bing, 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 pow, right in the face.
But she was going to a strip club.
You know, she pretended to have a good time the rest of the night too. She was just like, "I'm
beat his ass later."
It's the complete opposite. Bro wasn't there. She was with her girls. How could he have left me? How could he have left us? You gotta take this personal, ladies. Like I
insert Jordan meme, and I took that shit personally.
You know what that reminds me of? Remember Dave Chappelle used to do those skits when keeping it real goes wrong.
Man, that was my favorite shit ever.
That's what that reminds me of. It's like, wow, Dwayne left without her. She could have just played it off, but She beat his ass.
This is when keeping it real
goes wrong.
Facts, bro. But that's kind of crazy that you lost a tooth over you.
Yeah, like in a world of Uber,
girl, bro.
There's a world of Uber now. It's like she had a ride.
They had a ride. Remember, it was groups.
Yeah.
It was groups that were going to different places, not the same spot.
But Dwayne is coming out saying, however, he appreciates the concern. He still has all his teeth and don't believe everything you read.
Oh, he got a fake one put in real fast. Watch. You know what I'm saying?
Big ass veneers got that boy looking goofy.
Yeah, he's got that fuck you money.
I mean, he's not even a good quarterback, but he's still making it, so it's straight.
Shit.
Oh, shit.
What you got, Noah?
Yeah, he acknowledges the fight, but doesn't remember getting punched. In searching the room, officers found blood and a piece of tooth.
There it is.
So do you see what I'm saying? You can lie to yourself, but don't lie to me, bro.
I don't care how drunk you are. You gonna remember getting your ass beat. And if you can't remember, she knocked his ass the fuck out.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Fuck out of here.
Classic.
He was playing it up. He was being a politician about it because they said the police found a piece of tooth. So she probably hit him. It like chipped one of his teeth, and he's sitting there with a broken ass tooth. He's like, I got all my teeth. But no, it's just chipped. It's broken. He's playing politics.
Well, technically, he's an NFL quarterback too. So he's like, technically, I have all my teeth.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean if they're starting. Like, doesn't mean they're all starting right now.
Yeah, I got all of it.
I am an NFL quarterback. Which string?
Think about all the big guys that were sacking him when he was playing for the Washington football team because they were trash. And like, think about that. And then his wife comes, watches him come home and gives him the 3-piece and the side of fries, and all of a sudden his tooth's gone.
His wife did what a lot of Washington fans wanted to do.
Yo, facts.
God damn.
I'm just saying. Dude did not perform. Dude did not perform.
He did not.
Nah, he ain't lie.
But speaking of performing,
we got the Bucks even in the series 2-2. And I just want to say quick gambling plug because we are technically a gambling company. Here. I put, just for shits and gigs, I put $25 on the Suns plus 4.5 last night, right? Just $25, nothing, just enough that I could watch it and be a little chubby, right? I with a minute and a half left, maybe 2 minutes left. The Suns were up like 3 points. Mm-hmm. Suns were up like 3 points with like 2 minutes left, and I'm thinking, wow, I got them plus 4.5. This is a lock. Somehow the Bucks won that game by what, 7-8 points?
There's 2 plays that changed that whole dynamic. Ayton getting swatted and then Devin Booker fouling out, even though he was having an unreal breakout game. First off, that last foul, granted he had his arm around his back a little bit, but he wasn't ripping him. But that was a clean swat on the ball. I mean, I don't know. Some of the things we're letting go, I don't think that was, I don't think that should have been called. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like you're in the moment there, like as a ref.
Yeah.
You got to think. Some of that ticky-tack stuff, they let go 99% of the time.
Exactly.
And then it's Devin Booker. Like, Kobe Bryant's not getting that call.
No.
Facts.
What about what do you think? Did you see the play where Devin Booker clearly tried to intentionally foul, I think it was Drew Holiday on the breakaway. It was either Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton. He intentionally fouled somebody, and the refs didn't call it, and Giannis, he cleaned it up on the follow-through. But it was with like 2 minutes left, and obviously, what's his name? Booker had 5 fouls, and dude was on a breakaway, and he literally, they wrapped it up, and you could hear I forget who was commenting in the game last night, but they were going, this is ridiculous. Like, he clearly tried to foul him, and the refs just let him play. So, like, there was, like, they wanted him in the game.
I think I missed that one, but the one that did stick out to me, the foul that they called, that wasn't a foul at all. It was when they were trapping at the end of the game.
Oh, yeah, with Cam Johnson and Chris Paul,
At the very, none of them even touched dude. Like, none of them got even close enough to, like, actually do anything. They were just straight up trapping, hands up.
Oh, yes.
You feel what I'm saying now?
Wasn't it? I remember that he had his hands straight up. It wasn't even a body foul. Like, he wasn't even touching.
It was the fact that they ran up to him. That's exactly what they were explaining. It was the fact that they ran up to him and then put their hands up because they assumed. That's why you can't assume shit like that, because that's some people's defensive, like, schemes.
You got replays for a reason now, I guess.
So. It's not even about the replays. It's just like, yo, if there was no spectators in here, say we back in COVID, would you really call that? You know you didn't see anything, but now you know that you're on TV. You're like, fuck it. I got to call it up. I'm going to make this a better series. Granted, they're already losing at that point.
Yeah.
But still, it's the fact that those little things, the little mitigations that diminish them. And I'm kind of biased right now because I wanted them to sweep.
I mean, like, granted, if you only look at 2 games, I mean, the last 2 games of them losing, what happened? Ayton had foul trouble a couple games ago, and now when Devin Booker is having foul trouble and then eventually got fouled out, and they ended up losing because of that. But then with that happening at the end, it just goes to show you need Ayton and Booker both in the game, the full game, for them to be able to end up winning the series. Like, come on now. Like, granted, Chris Paul didn't really do much, didn't really show up, but there were some dudes on the Bucks that were showing up too, like Middleton. Had a pretty freaking good game. Like a pretty
good game?
Pretty freaking good game.
Pretty good.
Unreal game. Middleton actually balled out, bro. I'm telling you.
He's been balling out. All right, so let me go and say a little story real quick.
He rolls up his sweatpants leg. He rolls it up. Well, let me get ready to tell this story now.
Because people got a little heated over this. So for the Juneteenth weekend, which is June 19th, I was away. And I told you guys I was going to be away. I lost my voice when I came back, that. And part of that reason was we were having a discussion about Chris Middleton and Giannis.
Oh, okay.
And the discussion was, who is Batman and who is Robin? And one of my friends said, Chris Middleton is a bitch. He's a bitch. He's ass. He's X, Y, and Z. But the same day that he was saying that, actually, I still fucking remember this. As we're watching the game against the Nets, he's saying all this. Chris Middleton's going off. Already at that point, he had like 25, 26 going into the third quarter. I believe it was just at halftime. And I'm listening to him. I'm like, yeah, he kind of was like ticky-tacky because all we ever hear about is Giannis.
Yeah.
We don't get the Bucks coverage, so we don't ever see what's going on with the actual squad.
Facts.
Ever since then, bro, I believe has dropped 30 plus in every single playoff game.
Middleton, are you sure about that?
I'm dead serious. Go look back at the sets.
Please.
In every
please, correspondent Noah, can you please look at these stats?
They play the Celtics all the time, absolutely. He's Celtics killer.
I'm saying,
he has not gotten 30 points every single game.
Damn near in the playoffs, he has been the Batman. And fucking Giannis has been the Robin, doing this shit, the little shit that matters, all the blocks, right?
And the third game, Giannis. Giannis was the guy.
He was. Yeah. But this game, he wasn't. He was on it for the defensive end. For them to get that points, and for DeAndre to do as little as he did last night, for Chris Paul to make all those fucking like mental errors.
He had 11 points in game 2.
In game 2? What about the other games? Can we hear about the other games?
Yeah, we don't want to sample. We don't want to sample size.
Yeah, come on. I just want to say
I want all four.
Game 1, he had 29.
Okay.
Oh, right. Not 30 though. That's not 30.
You're right.
Game 2, he had 11.
Okay.
And then
what about game 3? Giannis went off.
I'm really hoping he has lower than 30 points. I really do. I'm really hoping for this right now. Never wanted to see someone fail so much in my life.
Game 3, he had 18.
Oh, not even 20. Oh,
no. But here's my point. I digress.
We have the best
But
takes.
here's my point. Giannis has been doing all that he could do for this point. Yeah. It's really Middleton who's doing all this shit. All this stuff that we see on the court is because he's facilitating that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like all the clutch moments, definitely Giannis. 110% has all been Giannis. Because what have we been talking about? All the blocks he's been making. All the steals, all the rebounds to get it right at the critical moments. And he's been doing that. And I'm not going to like shame or like put down dude for that. But I'm still saying that Middleton, he's going to be the guy that's really going to get them to win the final.
Yeah,
to win the
everybody needs a
series.
Pippen. Everybody has to have a Pippen.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to.
100%.
Because it was LeBron and there was Wade.
Yeah.
There's Shaq and there's Kobe. You know what I'm saying?
I would even argue that like
Booker's off the floor, the game changes because now it just it all slides over. All the defenses slides over. All the matches have changed.
Yes, exactly my point.
Yeah. But the other thing with Middleton too, I think that we don't really talk enough about is he is like the final shot guy. Like if there's one, like if there's like
there's no one else on that team.
Like if they need like a final shot at the end of like a the game,
Yeah.
they go to Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
They don't go to Giannis.
Yeah, if there's a drive opportunity, it's clear for Giannis.
Like, look at this. I'm gonna just tell people real quick. It's Lopez, who's the center, and he's great for a
First
three,
off,
but
Lopez, the second game, he was the breakout player. That guy was hitting all of his threes. It was nuts.
It didn't go for their way, but still, he did what he had to do. He showcased it, right? So we have Lopez. That's not the guy that you're going to get the final shot to. Definitely not PJ Tucker because he had 0 points last night.
Bro, he was trash. He was trash.
It's not going to be Drew because he wants to facilitate, as in he wants to get assists. And that's fine. That's his fucking role. I concur, all right? Giannis, it's always iffy. If you have someone that's missing or airballing free throws, that's probably not the guy you want for your last shot. You know what I'm saying? Then it goes Connaughton.
Who the hell is that? Who the hell is Connaughton?
St. John Prep boy.
but do you? And then after that, it's Bobby Portis, who's strictly a defensive player.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's on this role for.
I
That's
hate
what he's on
looking
the
at Bobby
squad for.
Portis'
Yeah, they
face,
can't
man.
sub for scoring that much.
But do you see what I'm saying? And the last person that's actually was active last night, I'm not even gonna go to like all the other players that didn't play, but it's Jeff Teague.
Bro, Jeff Teague balled out a little bit last night. I saw him making some moves.
He had 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist in 10 minutes.
Really?
Not good
I
enough.
saw him do a couple things.
saw
I mean, he probably did. He probably scored. He probably rebounded. And
Behind
had an
the
assist.
numbers,
All
behind the
that.
numbers.
You know what I'm saying? That's really behind the numbers.
If you look deep behind the numbers, he did something last night.
If you completely disregard the numbers, you'll find Jeff Teague.
When you're really behind the numbers, if you disregard the numbers.
I was drinking a lot of wine last night. I was talking about him coming back to the Celtics. It was a rough night for me, guys. It was real rough.
This comparison isn't going to really work, but like as a Boston fan, you're going to see it. Like every once in a while in the NBA playoffs, do you see Drew Holiday? And then every once in a while, like when they back off 15 feet and let him shoot, I'm just like, oh my God, Rondo's in the playoffs right now. And I'm like, holy shit. And like I don't really like compare their games. Like Rondo to me, like if I teach passing, I start with what Rondo does.
Oh yeah,
Facts, facts,
You know, that's
facts.
exactly what I talk about. Shooting shoulder. Like Ray Allen should have played the rest of his career with him. Like he would have scored,
Would've been
even though they hated each other's
big time.
guts. But Drew, like, when he drew all you out there, and they just back off, you see him just take that breath, about to shoot a three.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's another Rondo.
You're like, okay, I'm fine. Go ahead.
Hey, here we go.
All day.
But you know what is funny because as much as we're saying like how dudes in the Bucks, not all of them had great games. Like we said, PJ Tucker had 0 points. Like they still came out and won. They even the series at 2-2.
They did.
So I think it's going to be super interesting. That kind of transitioned though into another topic we had on our list, which is CP3's bad decision making. And you know, I mean, the one play that stands out to me, I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of them, but at the pivotal moment when there was like 2 minutes or a minute and a half left, maybe even less, and he came down the court and he tried to split the 2 defenders and he just fell. And he stole the ball.
Driving in the middle of the lane,
exactly.
to his left.
And what the story's going to be is that, you know, he's this great player. He's got this great resume, but at the end of the day, he's never been in this game before.
Yeah, big time.
And that's crazy, man, because he's literally at the, you know, downside of his career. And,
Literally.
And I want him to win. And I want him to win. But that's what it is. He's gone through some tough years and everything, but he's never been in that game. He's never been in that minute.
Right.
It's never happened before, and that's his first. And like, it's crazy that these people can still fail.
And that's why I'm kind of mad at myself for putting them that pressure of a sweep on them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, damn, it's
Suns and 4. Suns and 4.
Hey,
Plus two. Suns and 4 plus.
that's what he fucking texted me last
4
night.
plus
I was
2.
like, this
Suns and 4
motherfucker
plus
here.
2.
Yeah, I saw the greatest. So I'm 42, so I don't actually have a TikTok account. I just look at the free one.
Yeah.
I'm 42, and I just can't have my wife like roll over in bed and see that.
Yeah.
Kind of put it out
That's
there.
gonna cost another.
But
fight,
I
you
know
what I'm saying?
42-year-old men that have TikToks, and it's crazy. But I saw the greatest one ever. Some guy literally in his TikTok rolling out to his trash barrel, takes his sun hat, throws it in there, pulls out a Giannis jersey from the trash. And he's like, Bucks and 6.
I saw that
phenomenal.
one. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
But it goes to show you that if you really don't have like a person that's been on a roster that was in the finals, like I know they have Jay Crowder, the Suns do.
Jay Crowder's the real tough guy on the team, and I appreciate it.
He is.
I
but,
love his
like,
defense.
They need more of that if they're trying to close out this series back at home because the defensive side is great, but when you're not having, I want to say Paul do his job too, because Booker did his damn thing.
He does his thing every single night.
He came out with 42.
He does his thing every
Here you go.
night.
No, what's the stat just came out? He's got the most playoff points for a player in the playoffs for the first time ever.
Damn, he about to replace you.
Hey, remember.
You saw how he looked at me? He's like, you seen it?
He's like, what?
There was a
No,
stat.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He's
Yeah.
got the most playoff points from someone in the first time ever.
How many times has he scored 30, 40 points in the entirety of the playoffs?
Ease, bro, with ease.
With ease.
And that's what I'm saying. He needs another fucking scorer on this
Yes.
team because Paul's not doing it.
But the team
didn't do
wasn't
it last
built.
night.
They didn't in the beginning of the season. They weren't like, we're NBA Finals.
Right.
No,
And
but at some point you gotta know.
Yeah, and then the GM's like, I told you day
Oh
one.
yeah, for sure. But for real, like on some real shit, like at some point, right?
Yeah, for someone's first postseason.
Right. But on some real shit, like you can't not see that you're gonna be on the road
You're
to
gonna
the
be
finals.
competitive as hell.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, all right, guys, we made the playoffs. Oh damn, we're like the number 1 seed. We have some legitimate contenders on this squad that can beat out people. And I felt like after they did that to the Lakers,
Yeah.
they should have known. Like, yo, everyone, lock the fuck in.
We're legit.
Yeah.
If this is not the time, no other time will be it.
Yeah.
Because we have every single piece that we need, but those players are not showing up.
Yes, they have all the pieces, but all the pieces need to play their roles.
Right.
And when that
Exactly
happens and everyone's staying good, it's literally could have easily been Suns in 4, but each game, not everyone did what they had to do.
had
If they can do that for the next 2 games, I have no worries about them winning this series at all.
We all can do quarantine, man. If I'm that coach, I'm in quarantine. We are in a hotel.
time.
We are locked down.
Yeah.
Big time.
Going nowhere.
Give me your phones.
Yeah. Legit.
It's over.
Honestly get them back on the right. Like, well, look, here's the thing too, is like we sit here and we talk about, all the things the Suns are doing wrong to go, to lose these last 2 games. But, we can't forget the Bucks are one of the best home teams like in the NBA.
Yeah, big time.
They play
Great
extremely
fans.
well at home. And when you have a team that's that is that talented, it's very rare to come out and beat them 4 games in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I mean, look, I still think the Suns are going to pull it off in maybe 6 or 7, but am I surprised that the Bucks came back and won 2 at home? No,
Definitely not.
definitely
And
not.
as like one of the 12 NBA fans left in the world, like you want to see a 6 game, 7 game season.
For
Oh,
sure.
and that's
Finals,
exactly
yeah.
what I was gonna end it on. Like, I
As
think
one of
like this is
12
gonna
real,
be great.
you're so
Yeah,
true.
when I was like
Exactly.
20, I used to have a boss who tell me, he's like, there's like 30 fans left and you're one of them. That's it.
Sticking
You're
up
not lying at all. You're not
with
lying.
the NBA.
Bring me back to March Madness, then we'll start talking about basketball. Right?
Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, for real though, like, if anything, this is gonna be like one of the most intriguing like series that we have. Now, if anything, people who haven't been watching are definitely
Right.
gonna be tuning
Back
in.
to even.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're
3-game
like, damn,
series
what's
now.
been going on over here?
The,
Y'all
the
been
NBA for the
balling.
first time in 20 years feels like the NFL.
Yeah,
Like anyone
Anyone
can
can
Anyone
actually
can-
win.
yeah.
Exactly.
It's the first time.
exactly. I
2
love
decades.
that. Literally, yeah, no, because think of it, for the last, like you said, last 2 decades, it's been up to maybe 3 or 4 teams
Yeah,
that
who
know.
are
it.
the 3 players? Is
It's
LeBron,
Steph
Curry?
and Iguodala, isn't
And-
it? So
and Iguodala and LeBron.
Didn't Iguodala have some crazy stat like this is the first like
I don't
playoff
even know
thing
if
he
that's
hasn't
his
been
name.
in?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Andre
can you not
Iguodala.
say his name?
Iguodala.
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 You can't say
I-
his name.
He can't say
Iguodala.
You can't.
It's
Andre?
Iguodala.
It's getting worse every time.
Well, yeah, you
I'm
can
done. I'm done. I can't do it.
Andre?
Wait, Andre
Dre
Iguodala.
Iguodala.
Andre 3K.
Iguodala. Iguodala.
Hey, whatever. All right. Either way, Andre Iguodala.
Wait.
Oh,
Say
I
your last name.
can't say
Say your
Lukic's
last
name,
name.
so.
I got these big old lists. I can't say.
Shut up. Say your last name.
Skip that beedle bee. I said a skip that diddly dee.
Hey, I love this one.
This dude. All right, we're definitely clipping that, and we're gonna.
Oh no, keep that shit in. That's fucking comedy.
Oh no,
bro.
I don't mean cut it out. I mean clip it. Like we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
clip it and like put that up on social media.
Oh no.
Shit.
But Gordon
Tony
cannot-
Baker's gonna sue us. There you go.
I'm not even joking. I thought you were saying it. I thought you were saying it like as a joke at first.
Yo, oh God, I thought he
I
was.
swear to God,
I'm like, yo, he can't say Andre Iguodala.
I don't think there's a D in there anywhere. Is there a D in there anywhere?
I swear there was a
Like
D
James
and a
Dollar.
G. Andre Iguodala. Iguodala.
Iguodala? That's what you said it. You just said it.
Iguodala?
Yeah, there you go.
That don't make any sense. I don't like that.
That's his name, bro.
That's a terrible name.
It doesn't have to make sense.
He needs to get that changed up.
Don't have to make sense. Just say it.
All I'm saying is Andre, finally to my point, this is the first time he hasn't been in the playoffs or in a playoff game in like 16 years or something like that. It's like the longest time.
It has been.
Yeah, and that's what's great about this year's finals.
Exactly. It feels like it's like the dawn of the new age of the NBA is like upon us with all these young studs. But we got one more basketball topic to cover tonight before we get into a few other things. Bradley Beal out of the Olympics.
COVID. I swear to God, as soon as the thing started open again, I thought COVID was like non-existent. It's not a real thing
The Red
anymore.
Sox were canceled tonight. It's like the 8th game of the year. Red Sox Yankees canceled. 3 pitchers had COVID.
Really?
It's the 8th game of the whole season, and
that Delta strand is real, I guess.
LA
re-implemented the mask mandate.
Really?
Like indoors.
I'm done with. I'll go to jail. It's over. It's over.
I ain't going back.
I coached 2 seasons with it.
Leaving. What he saying?
Hey,
I'm not fucking leaving.
as kids that played basketball for me, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed we didn't have locker rooms this year in basketball.
That's nuts.
I feel like that's half my ability to coach.
Yeah,
is to go in the locker room and pump these guys up.
Say some shit.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say some shit.
Say some shit. Say some shit.
That the refs aren't supposed to hear. The parents damn sure aren't supposed to hear. Like, come on.
I mean, look,
Jay Brown was a responsible adult when he was with us in the locker rooms. For all the parents that are listening.
4 fucking walls,
Dude,
man.
they had huddle. They had huddle, so everything was filmed and I was being recorded all the time. And there might have been a couple high schools that called to my AD and be like, "Hey, I've never heard that many F words in my life." You're like, is that the Coach Brown from Netflix or is that Coach Brown from Abington, Mass?
He's clearly never listened to Coach K. Coach.
Well, no, I hope that all gets settled because I'm really hoping we can put that all behind us. I thought that was behind us. Goddamn. But he's out. He's out of the Olympics. He's potentially got COVID. I'm not sure it was confirmed or if he's just in the protocol. The team itself, they righted the ship against Argentina, which is a pretty good team, but they dropped 2 straight prior to that, Australia and Nigeria. Again, Nigeria and Australia aren't slouches. They got some good players. They've been playing better. But this is clearly not the Team USA that we've seen in the past. But
I think this always happens. They trip out of the gate because all these other countries have been playing together for 8 months or whatever they're doing. And then Team USA is like, yo, I know I follow you on Instagram, but I'm just meeting you for the first time. Pass me the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
How are we going to play together like that?
That worked when those 5 dudes were like Kobe, LeBron, like all those dudes. But that's not
because those guys in their off season they were balling together. Like they would actually meet up like in the middle of somewhere in the country and just play basketball against each other or with each other or something like that.
Exactly.
So how old were you, like when Dream Team happened? Like were you even born though?
92.
Oh, yeah. How old are you guys?
I'm 93, bro.
Negative.
Yeah, exactly.
I was negative.
Oh man.
Oh god,
I'm
94.
Gen Z. Is that
Yeah, you missed out.
Yeah, 94.
Damn. Yes, it's been a long time since that. And then I think the closest thing we've seen to the Dream Team was that year that it was like probably with Kobe and LeBron and all those dudes. That Dwayne with all those dudes. That was a good one. Who's it?
Mello there, yeah, Mello.
Mello was definitely there.
He's an Olympian.
Oh yeah.
Got to get him one.
Yeah.
One type of jewelry. Like fuck, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he does have a kind of a crazy.
No wonder he kept going back. He's like, if I'm not going to win the NBA, might as well win the Olympic medal.
But we got 2 more topics on.
Wait, before we go in,
yeah.
Are y'all sweating balls too?
It's really hot.
I'm freaking drenched.
I apologize. The AC I don't think it's pumping. It's really fucking hot. I know.
I'm sweating in all kinds of places I know I could sweat.
Yeah,
it's tough over here.
That's why. Look, I can tell it's.
Hey man, it's real.
We're all hot. It's getting late. We're coming up on an hour. We got 2 more things we'll get to. We'll wrap it up quick. First thing I want to talk about is the whole fight night that happened. We'll cover some of the UFC that happened last week. We had Poirier versus McGregor 3, and then another fight that I want to touch on. It was part of the main card. A lot of people, you might have glossed over it. If you watched the Sean O'Malley versus Chris Moutinho's fight, we want to talk about that real quick.
Shouts out to you, Chris, bro. You did your goddamn thing, bro.
Toughest son of a bitch I've ever seen.
Shouts out to you. You did your goddamn thing.
You really did, and we appreciate you. He came on last night. Chris FaceTimed into the Steele and Nash show with us and talked for a good 20-25 minutes, ran us through kind of the fight and his journey and all that, and it was amazing. just the dude has so much heart, so much easily one of the toughest dudes I've ever seen. I was we were talking about it earlier.
Sure.
And
we were.
My big thing was like, you've seen dudes take a beating and not like get knocked out or go down. But have you ever seen a dude take a beating like that and continuously move forward and be the aggressor for 99.9% of the fight? It was honestly something I've never seen in it. I think that's why he kind of became like an overnight sensation amongst like the UFC and MMA world, is just because of the resiliency he showed. So shout out Chris, Milford, Mass native. That was unreal. I think you earned a lot of respect from a lot of people. But let's quickly touch on Poirier versus McGregor 3, because I know there's a lot going on with that. Obviously, Poirier came out with the victory. Mm-hmm. It was stopped, I believe it was the end of the first round. Right at the end of the first round, McGregor snapped his ankle. We've heard a lot of people give their takes. Joe Rogan, a bunch of people have analyzed it. Poirier called out McGregor himself, saying, I snapped your ankle on this. McGregor's own managers come out and said, well, actually, he broke it back in training camp, and we were just hoping he was healthy. There's a lot going on. Let's quickly touch on it. What do you guys think?
I want you to go first, my guy.
Honestly, I have no opinion like prior to it. Like, I don't think anybody goes in that fight. The way that he delivers kicks, like he uses it as a jab.
Right.
Yeah, like he's got too much, he's got plenty of money. He's got too much riding on it respect wise and, his legacy to go in there with a broken ankle. Like he's not going to go in there with it. So I think possibly, it obviously got broke during the fight.
Definitely.
Right. And then the fact that you could just see the frustration, like he's telling he's going to like kill that guy, kill Poirier and his wife, and all. Like he was pumped up to fight. Like he's still there. You're right. He was riding that adrenaline wave. Yeah. So I don't know. I hope it wasn't something prior to the fight, because to go in there, like you're tough. We get you're tough and everything, but you're just not delivering on what people pay for to see, because you're an entertainer at the end of the day.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I had seen something. Granted, it was Barstool, but it was McGregor speaking on there. I guess someone had said something that he potentially had a stress fracture at the beginning of the thing, potentially. Right. Noah, feel free to check that one.
Well, that's not confirmed. That's pure
speculation. I mean, that could have that's speculation, but it's also McGregor. He could have just be making some shit up to make him sound not soft. You know what I'm saying? Like,
his manager came out and did an interview with one of the UFC reporters. I forget her name.
You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just a part of his fucking camp,
exactly. It's part of his act.
Go ahead.
Exactly. So again, we don't know whether that's legitimate or not, but that only came out after the whole incident happened.
Exactly. And that's what just makes me think it's more of his campaign, just being like, I think we should just say it like this just to make it on the up and up.
Exactly.
Because what we know so far is that, bro was in the fight, right?
So look, McGregor, McGregor says he entered the fight with the stress fracture in his leg. His manager, and that's basically what his manager iterated. They basically came out and said that.
Exactly my point. Anybody from anybody's own camp is not going to say anything to diminish the person that they're trying to represent. It doesn't make sense.
Stupid.
It's just
counterproductive for you.
You feel what I'm saying?
Like
it doesn't matter. So my take on it, I firmly believe he was fine going in there.
Right.
All those fucking jabs, like you were just saying, he was kicking. But there was also times that he was in a compromised position where his ankle could have got more and more stress on it,
for sure.
Which it looked like. Because if I do believe I'm remembering correctly, it was a left ankle.
Yes,
it was the left one, right? It was the left one. He was down on the ground for a little bit,
and he was kicking.
Just kept kicking.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Pure adrenaline.
He was on the left side of the ring, so he's pretty much hitting him. And if he's not hitting him, he's on the way back hitting the fucking fence. Yeah. So time after time again, you're gonna keep getting compound after compound on it. What else you got for me, Jay?
Well, so McGregor says in his own words, I was injured going into the fight. People are asking me, when was the leg broke? At what point did the leg break? Ask Dana White. Ask the UFC. Ask Dr. Davidson, the head doctor of the UFC. They knew I had a stress fracture in my leg going into the cage. So what if that's real, which it could be, I mean,
why let the fucking fight go on? Why not keep postponing it?
Isn't that UFC's job at that point?
Because that's exactly what they did with the Tyson and the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight. I mean, it's for COVID, but they still pushed it back because it's fucking a medical concern, right?
Yeah.
If you know that's a medical concern for one of the sides, why not push it back?
Yeah, like
why keep making fucking excuses?
It was probably money. I feel like it had to be money.
But
for it to
of
be able
course,
to go like
he
this.
says there was debate about pulling the thing out because I was sparring without shin pads and I would kick the knee a few
Dumbass.
times.
That's your own fucking fault,
Right. He
bro.
said, so I had multiple stress fractures in the shin bone
no,
above the
I'm
ankle.
not hearing that shit.
So-
Even though I put money on, bro, and I had it under 1 round, like still, like I'm not trying to hear that shit because of that fact. Like, bro, you're just making excuses now.
No,
You're gonna tell us, the fans, to ask everybody else? Fuck that. This is hedge better, right?
Yeah.
Can't ask to get our money back.
No.
So what the fuck are we doing here at the end of the day? Nobody gives a fuck about that. Yeah, everyone wants to see a rematch. You know you're not gonna do a rematch. He knows that there's not gonna be a rematch gonna be done.
You know what?
Yeah, he's
Also,
the number
UFC
one
knows that
ranked
shit.
guy now. He's not going to fight him.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you. I'm
But it
off
is a
you.
payday.
But look, you know what? You know why he did that? And look, this is just my little whole gambling background. I don't know. I'm just looking at it from a gambling perspective, and I look at it and I say, okay, this was the first time in a long time that Conor McGregor came into a fight, maybe ever, as an underdog, right? And one of the things
Plus
that
104.
exactly, and one of the things that Liam Vernon, co-host Taylor the Tape and owner of the house,
Shout out to Taylor the Tape.
one of the things he said in his analysis was basically, kind of just that, in that, like, when you look at like McGregor, like that ankle was pretty much, whether it was broken or not going into the fight, like, I don't know, that it just didn't seem like McGregor was kind of right. It didn't seem like he was himself. I don't know.
no,
And
he
like,
broke his fucking leg.
he broke his leg.
It's
I mean,
just called,
at the end,
ladies and
He
gentlemen,
broke
that's
his
the
fucking
definition
leg,
of
dude.
a
and look,
fucking scapegoat.
and when you
know
look
what I'm
at it,
saying?
there was just something weird about it. Like he
put the team on his fucking back.
did, but look, here's
That was a good one in high school. I do
Across the line,
that.
touchdowns. Fuck you, Gumby.
I remember that shit. The Vote Matter
Broke his
video.
fucking leg, dude.
But you look at it and you say, okay, why was he an underdog for the first time in his life? It's probably because people at, in Vegas, the sports books, got wind of the fact, hey, McGregor has a stress fracture in his leg. And they probably told him, hey, if we know about it, we're going to make you the underdog so that fucking 75% of the money comes in on you. And guess what? If you don't say shit and you don't pull out of the fight, there's going to be a little check waiting for you to go in and step in the ring.
I can 100% see that
That's
shit happening.
100% how it's happening, because I'll tell you, the second 90% of people who don't follow UFC saw that McGregor was an underdog, they bet him.
But
Big time.
Isn't that kind of
Tight
shitty?
pants are expensive.
Facts.
But isn't that, but on
only got
real
one
shit,
pair.
isn't that kind of shitty at the end of the day? Like,
very
like a person's
Super
just
shitty.
gonna take a dive
It's
after
super
they've been
shitty.
talking all this
And
shit.
that's-
You looked up to them and you idolize them, all that shit.
It's shitty as
And
fuck.
it's just like,
And that's
damn.
why at Hedge Better, our whole gambling model is based around the sports books not needing to keep you in the dark, not needing to withhold information from you, because they don't need you to lose. It's a peer-to-peer situation, but we won't go down that road.
Money.
We'll just say,
On that road, bro.
but anyway, we are coming up on just over an hour. We've had a great episode 9. We're wrapping up in the trenches. Jay Brown, thank you so much for being here, man. Like I said,
Thanks for having me, guys.
you know what? Like,
Jay Bizzle.
not only like did you like do so much like for us when we were younger, but I can honestly say that like you're indirectly one of the reasons why like all this stuff is possible, because like you just look at everything and like how it's come to shape, and it's butterfly effect. You can go back and trace it 10, 15 years in the making, and a lot of it all started in that little gym in Rockland with the Wolfpack. So thank you, man. You know,
man.
I love you. I appreciate you
Facts.
coming on. And it's funny, like we say, like, we don't always talk to each other on a regular basis, but like, I love you, and
Appreciate it, man.
it's one of those things where when we see each
Same.
other, it's like nothing ever happened. You know what I mean?
But hey, like, for just to any coaches listening right now, the big thing for me is like some coaches just want to be in charge. Like I coach for the relationships.
That's right.
I want to form relationships. I want to help people.
That's right.
So I hope that
You got an IG, you got a Twitter.
Yeah, plug
Facebook?
yourself, JB. Where you coaching? What are you doing?
Brown. I'm
Let
right
us
now coming up on Weymouth High School. I'm the offensive coordinator there.
Nice.
And then this winter, I'll be coaching JV basketball at Abington High.
There you go.
Competing for another state title.
Love it.
No more Duxbury? You're done
I
with
left
Duxbury?
Duxbury 3 years ago.
3 years ago? Oh, man.
You got an IG, you got a Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah,
for
go
some of the students,
Twitter.
or-
It's I think it's at the kid. 33, and then
kid.
And then IG is the Jason R. Brown.
There we go.
There it is.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We appreciate all
Sound like you over here. You sound like me right now. Can you can you say that again?
I mean, the difference. I'll say appreciate right the second time. You still not saying Iguodala right. But no, we appreciate you guys. Wrapping up episode 8 again. Thank you, Jay Brown, Don Gordon, SK.
9, 8, or 9.
Your boy Don Gordon.
9.
We on 9. Yeah, we on 9. Come on.
That's my bad.
Justin's you can't say appreciate now. You can't figure out numbers. Oh man, it's a tough night.
We
Real
appreciate
tough.
you being here for episode 9. Noah, thank you as always for being here as well. We'll see you guys next week.
Be easy.